froze block of chitlins there. Just buy them in the bag. I just threw it right over in that wash pot. But what we done is built us a little tripod deal out of some what we call cold roll. It's just steel rod. I welded a ring in the top, but I just welded some chain to it. Put me 2 hooks on there. But we're gonna, what I'll do is I'm gonna boil these chitlins for a while, tender them up. Then I'll strain all the water off. I'll set the pot completely off on the ground. I may clean everything up then, but I'll start over basically with new water and then put my seasoning. That'll help clean these chitlins. These are pre-cleaned in a bag. All right, what we doing today is we got a pot set up here. We got a hook. We're getting our traps ready, and we boiling them in black walnuts. We dyeing them. These hadn't quite started boiling yet. I've got a few hanging up behind me here on this post. I'll step over there in a minute where you can see them, but well, I guess my hook's not gonna work right. Yeah, there it is. See, I got one in here. I'm putting just as I adjust them. Now, what I have got here, I dyed some cold method here a while back when I found them, some that I had. But what I'm doing is going ahead and getting really prepared. I did that just to preserve them because they were in bad shape. We're hot dyeing them today. Black walnuts. I've got me some nails hung up here. I've got these hanging up. I'm gonna go ahead and wax them too. What I did is I had bought some traps. I have some canine traps that I've never even used, some Duke 1.5s. And what we're gonna do is I'm adjusting them over here on this table. I'll take you over there and let you get a look at some of what I call tinkering that I'm doing on them. But what I'm doing is I'm just setting this trap here, every one of them, and seeing, you know, what kind of shape it's in. This one actually seems to be in pretty good shape, but I am going to make one slight modification in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little vise here. These I bought used from a guy, and I don't know what he done with them. I don't know how much he trapped with them, how much he used them, how he took care of them. I don't know anything other than here's these traps. So what I'm going to do is fix them where they go tonight. Now what I do is I take this file, and I'm not sure exactly, I don't see the size on it. This is not the biggest file. This is like the next size down. I don't remember. Anyway, it's a bastard file, but it's not the average size. You get a standard size. This is a little bit smaller. But what I'm doing, now I don't do too much, about 4 good licks if you got it right. Now if you're not bearing down and you barely rubbing, you may can do some more. I don't know if you can see right here. Trying to get it to focus. All I did was file a slight notch in that. Anyway, if it don't focus where you can see, what I did is I took that file, laid it in there, and I tried to make sure it's angled back as much as I can because you're trying to create a notch. And I filed me a slight notch right there. Now I'll show you what that does in just a second. Okay, now that I've done that, I take my trap, put it back over here, and I'm gonna reset it. One more thing I do notice right here before I do anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and address this before I fool with it. I'm just gonna clamp it lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it in this direction because I don't want to spring anything. It's just The spring itself is kind of holding it in there. This right here ain't moving as freely as I'd like. With it rusted up like that, a lot of guys sitting there paying attention. I'm not as experienced a trapper to sit here and tell you exactly how much paying attention I got. I do it by feel. But now, once I hook this, it puts a little more pressure on there. I like mine set with somewhat of a hair trigger. But this bottom plate right here looks like it's bent as well. I'm going to straighten it out. I like that to be flat, straight. These traps hadn't been really well taken care of. And see this, where the dog is hooked? This one, I'm not sure. I'm gonna lean over and let you see if you can tell. You see this right here is look like it's sprung back. I'm gonna see how it sets. And I may straighten that out as well. But that's just what I'm doing, just taking each trap, looking at it, addressing issues. Most of them had been well rusted up. And they got in worse shape now after I got them as far as the rust is concerned. But the stuff that's bent and all that, I did not do. Okay, this is going to work. All right, what you're doing right here is what it's called setting to night. Most of you know a little about this. Push that down and you'll hear it click. Right there, did you hear that click? Now what I do is I push it back up and make sure right here and just kind of squeeze like this, and it makes sure that it's set good. All right. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a stick just to see what it feels like. All right. It's not 100% the way I want it, but I'm gonna wax it. It's good enough that I'm not gonna make any major modifications to it. So like I said, this trap, and it's already got some of these I cut the way these cables on. This one's actually not too bad. It's not really the way I would put it on there, but I'm not going, I don't know, we'll see. I may take that off. I've already got my tags on there with my numbers. I'm not gonna let you see my number, but what I did is took a piece of tin and I punched my tags on there. But I may take these and do them different. I may roll them on my chains this year, I don't know. But that'll be done later. We're not gonna worry with it today. So I'll take this and set it back over here on my table. You see them's already boiling. I'm gonna just line this one up with it. And I'm putting them in here in sets of 3. I can actually fit 4 in there, but it worked out. I've got 1 more to adjust on, and I'll have 3. I've got 3 in there now, so I'm just getting these done. And then I've got a bunch of 110s and stuff. Some here, I'm deliberating on what I'm gonna do with these. These are, I've got to do some tinkering on these, but these I had actually painted. These are some I had already had. But now I noticed this one, I think I had just recently painted this one here. It's not set tonight. While we doing our traps, we're cooking some chitlings here. And I'm trying to cook them over a fire. It's a little more challenging, keep the fire going. I don't know why I just did that, but now I gotta go wash that off. I gotta poke my fire up and get it hot in there. All right, we got a fire sticker poker here. And rake this wood up. What we doing is we just making just kind of a day out of being out here and outside around the trapping shed. We just making a day out of it, enjoying cooking. I'm gonna hang this over here. I got this rack set up behind me back here. I'm thinking about setting my trap wax on it. I'm doing it, but I may wait till I get through dyeing and just put them on in that pot. I'm not sure. I really hadn't decided. If I've got 5 pounds of wax and they're 1 pound blocks. I'm not sure if I want to melt all the wax solid or if I want to put it on top of hot water and put one in at a time. I've seen it done both ways. I've never actually done it either way. I've never waxed my traps before. I've spray painted them I had never done just a lot of trapping. I've fooled with a few traps along, and I know I can catch stuff, but I hadn't just tried to mass do a whole bunch of traps. So this year we're gonna take a little time and try to do it right, see how good we can get at it. What I did here is I went ahead and dyed one of these painted traps, and I'll show you the result and why I did it. If you notice on this one, you see there's some rusted spots. Places just didn't get painted real good. You can see right up in there. And what I had done before I painted these is I cleaned them with vinegar. So I don't know if that had any effect on the paint not sticking well or the rust still coming off, but what I wanted to show you is it did not affect any of the painted areas. This done cooled off enough I can handle it. But what it did do is the places that they're under here, like in these corners, it dyed that. So I would suggest if you've got some you've painted and you decide you want it, don't hurt anything, easy enough to touch them up with some more spray paint. I just didn't have any right here on hand, and while I'm already doing this, I thought, what the heck, throw them in there. Now they're green and dark, so maybe they're somewhat more camouflaged. I don't really too worry about camouflaging these coil springs because I'm not using them in water. They're buried, covered up, nothing's gonna see them. One girl up north, she paints them pink. It don't hurt a thing. Paint them whatever color you want to. I just like OD green. That's the color I favor. So, not anything to do with hiding them from a critters, but anyway. I just wanted to show you what happened when you dyed a painted trap. I'm gonna let it go. I done handled it and got my sand all over it. And I'm gonna wax these and that'll seal them, but I'm just gonna dip it back down in there and just to take a little of the scent off. Now what I did in here, I don't know if you noticed but I grabbed me up a bunch of these sweet gum leaves that's dried up laying on the ground, throwed them in here, just help with scent maybe. Maybe that scent will get it out. It may not do a thing, I don't really know, but I put it in there. Didn't hurt nothing. But you can see that's them there. I'm trying not to touch a chain, just get some of the leaves knocked off. Anyway, you can see the leaves flying off there. Go ahead and pull out these. I think there's 2 more. We just having a good time. A lot of guys do this out of tradition. I've seen people talk about, well, they don't like Duke traps because you got to tinker on them. I favor Duke traps because I'm in Mississippi and the Dukes is in West Point, Mississippi. I go to West Point pretty regular on for other things, our other business. And but I enjoy tinkering on the traps. Like today, most guys have a tradition that they get everything out, boil them, wax them, do all this stuff. So we got some chitterlings cooking, we dine and wait, and I'm here by myself, but I'm having a blast. But now I tend to enjoy doing things by myself. I like to do the way I want to do it. It's just, we had a cold spell come through here in Mississippi. You know, it dropped down, the highs in like 85. So man, it's time to get your jacket out here in Mississippi. You know, it's 78 degrees right now or something, you know. Overcast. You know, TK and Mike is nice and overcast. That's kind of how it is right here today. So it just made for a good day to get out and do what we're doing. But I do have where I'm feeding my corn. I told y'all I had a coon trap down there. I was catching coon. The coyotes come up and got one of my coons. Now I wasn't gonna save the fur right yet. I was gonna relocate the coon to a place away from where I'm deer hunting there. When rival season comes in and the white oak acorns really start dropping, I won't be putting out any corn, but I was just sprinkling a little of this corn to feed my chickens out around, get them into bow range, because early in the year, you know, you done cooked all your deer meat up through the summer. It needs some fresh meat now, so we don't want to be dilly-dallying around waiting to get snuck up on one, so we're going to try to get that corn, pull him right on up in there in bow range, and shoot us a big old nanny down there. Them things, they eat my garden, slam up out here. So, but anyway, the coyotes come in and got my coon out of my dog-proof trap that I had down there. And so I had to set some coyote sets. Well, I've got scent probably all on my traps because I handled them barehanded and stuff while I was fooling with them. So I'm really doing this more as a scent control today to get ready. But it's trapping season coming up pretty quick. It'll be we're probably about 6 weeks out from trapping season here. I think it starts 1st of November, somewhere along in there in Mississippi. I'll have to double check it. I hadn't really looked this year. I hadn't even bought my hunting license. My hunting license is good till October the 10th from last year when I bought them, so I'm not gonna. Now I've got 2 right here that I already had of these number 4 dukes. I've just recently got me a spot that I can trap some beavers that nobody else is fooling with. Now I got a huge swamp back here full of beavers, but the government tries to trap all the beavers out, and it makes it hard for me to go down there and trap beavers. They don't fool with anything else, but the beavers back up water into some of the hay fields around, and this is a large management area, and the head of the Pearl River, they want it to dry up, I guess. So they've trapped all the beavers about out of it. Unfortunately, they've got rid of the fish and everything else. I like having the beavers down there. You don't really, when you're managing a place, you don't want to totally get rid of the beavers. I enjoy trapping them, so I would like for them to reproduce and have some more beavers. I also like to fish. I like them to dam the water up because during the summer, this swamp drains completely out. So there's no water left in it now. They've cut all the beaver dams out and drained the water out. So when the water gets low, you can just about walk the head of the Pearl River. I can literally walk. It's not much over ankle deep right now. And when we go to squirrel hunting, I'll take you down there and I'll show you. I'll do a video of squirrel hunting and I'll show you what it looks like. But they kind of handle things wrong. When the government takes control of something, you can bet it's going to go south. I don't care Democrats, Republicans, or who's running it. Government takes control of something, it's gonna go downhill. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of people around here that don't know no better either. So anyway, I put them 2 number 4s and I just got the beaver trap. So what I did is I went and I bought me 2 more yesterday when I was in West Point. Told y'all I go to West Point pretty regular. Got me 2 brand new Duke number 4s. That's money, baby. Pride and joy. Now, I know some guys that trap canines with these big traps. So, I'm not above trying it. But what I did, you notice there's a light coat of rust coming on there. I went and poured some vinegar on a rag. Being I only had 2 traps to do, I didn't want to waste a whole jug of vinegar. So, I just poured a little on a rag and rubbed them down really good. So I've got these. I'm not going to do these yet. I'm going to lay these out here and let them rust. I just threw them over here on the ground. Thought about sprinkling some salt on them. In fact, vinegar don't do the trick. I done got a leaf up in my crop. Now, if you're going to squirrel hunt in Mississippi, you need to invest in you a good pair of these crocs. Now, I done got the camera where you can't see them. Hey. That's a modern day moccasin right there. You do some slipping. Now you get them wet, you're gonna be in a mess. Probably wind up, I'll go barefooted if it ain't bad cold. Barefooted in Mississippi, squirrel hunting is the way to do it. It'll make you slow down because you're worried about them bras, stickers sticking you in the foot. That'll slow you down and you'll see more squirrels, I promise you. You'll be watching for old Sneaky Snake too, old no shoulders I call him. Be watching for them rattlesnakes and them what I call them rattle-headed copper moccasins. I just kind of lumps them all together. You be watching and be stepping on them barefooted. You'll watch where you're going, but you'll see more squirrels. All right. We got several 110s. We're gonna get started on them. When these come out, I got 2 more of these. I don't know if I'm gonna dip both of them. I'm probably gonna throw them in there though. I don't know if they'll fit now or not. I got a bunch of chain I'm gonna dip. Oh yeah, that'll go in there. My pot, it ain't quite big enough. And I ain't figured out what I'm gonna do my waxing in. I may have to wax in this. It's a little bigger than I wanted to wax in. I'm gonna show you this. I got 5 blocks of this. Odorless trap wax. Got it up there at Duke. Never waxed before, but we're gonna wax this year. See how much difference it makes. Some guys, they don't never wax. They say, hey, don't fool with it. I never did it. I didn't have enough traps to fool with it. Now, I hadn't even counted how many traps I've got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 1.5 coil springs. I've got 2 1 3/4 coil springs. I got 2 number 1 coil springs for mink over there. 2 number 1 double long springs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, 8. 4, 6, 8. 8 110 conibears. 2 220 conibears right there. I got 4 of these big 330s right here. And then I got a pile of 110s that I spray painted over there that I didn't even bring over here. There's another 220 right there. So I got 3 220s right here, and I know I got 1, 2, 3, 4 220s over there, and there's about 10 more 110s hanging up. Yeah, I know there's 4 or 5 more 220s over there, and then there's I don't know how many 110s. But anyway, we got several traps now, enough to go trapping. As you can see, that's got a good, nice dark color. It's not just black, but they got a good, nice dark color. They good and rusted up. Just kind of got them in a wad. I want to make sure before I do this that I slide this dog somewhat down, both of it. It and the latch, white trip wires. Make sure that way I ain't got to handle it so much working with it when I get through. I should have probably checked all these like I did some of my other ones, but I wanted to pull one of these up real quick, see how quick. You can see how quick that turns dark. You probably don't have to leave these in there as long as I'm leaving them, but I want to make sure it opens that metal up. When metal gets hot, it expands. It'll open them pores up in it, suck it in there good. So we're gonna let it boil a few minutes. We got a good dark color though. They don't look nothing like they did earlier. You see them steaming, they're pretty hot. We're gonna hang these bad boys up right here. We're gonna drop something else in there. This is that 1 foothold we still had left. Well, nice when they get all tangled up, ain't it? Rearranged my chains there. You can see I got them a little more wadded together over here. I didn't have enough room the way I was going at it. Now obviously we won't be waxing these 110s, so I may not do all of them today. I don't know, it's starting to get dark. I still gotta feed chickens. But I do want to heat some wax up, and we're gonna wax these foot traps. I gotta drop these 2 mink traps. I've got to go get me a few more of these #1 foot traps, because I'm determined I'm gonna catch me a mink this year. I've heard several guys say they've never caught mink, so that's my mission this year, is mink. Losing light fast. I got over there, was cutting some boards out, stretching boards. I had trying to get all of this done at one time, but I've already turned my fire down. I'm gonna just set this pot off. I may continue to try to dye some more traps tomorrow, so I'll just leave the water and all in this pot, but I'm gonna set my wax. I've had it over here by the fire on that grate. It's somewhat melting, but it hasn't melted. I think I'm gonna set this up on this table over here. Safe place. But I got my fire turned down low. My wax has been melting. I decided to do the pure wax method instead of putting one on top of the water. That's what the instructions suggested. And I've never done this, so I can't say that it won't work that way. I feel like it probably would have, but I was more concerned about my inexperience in knowing how to make sure I got enough wax on them, because you coating that trap just at the water line where that coat of wax is. So we've got five blocks of wax in there, and one of the main things I wanted to show you today, I'll put that in my pocket, I was gonna put it in the fire, is when I pull these out of this wax, I don't want to handle them no more with my bare hands if I don't have to. I've got a pair of clean, brand new gloves I just opened, laid them right there just for the occasion. I'm going to take this feed sack. Now, this is not a paper sack. This is kind of a nylon feed sack. They're reusable. Our local farm supply will take these and refill them for you if you bring your own sacks. So I've kept them. I've got a good many over here, probably 20 or 30. Maybe not quite that many, probably about 20. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write on the side of this white bag what this trap is. If I ain't got but 2 like those 2 1 3/4 dukes, I've only got 2 of them. I'm just gonna write that. That'll be the only 2 traps in that bag. That way, when I pick a bag up, I know what's in it before I go, and it's not a plastic. I've seen guys put them in Ziploc bags and all different kinds. This is not going to tear up and poke holes in it. If you put them in a Ziploc bag, I don't care what they say, you're going to tear a hole in that bag with a metal trap. It's going to happen. Unless you just really being finicky with everything, and I'm not that finicky. I'm more of a bull in a china shop kind of guy, so I'm not clumsy, but I go at things wide open, and it's got to handle me. So I don't like weak and poor stuff. So anyway, we're gonna put these traps in here. Now I'm gonna hang them up right now. When I get through waxing them, when I dip it in that wax, I'm gonna hang it back up over there. I've got me a milk crate here with my bags in there. I'm gonna get 2 or 3 more bags out, label them according to what I've got. I'm gonna put all my 220s in one, all my 110s in one. I'm gonna put all my #1s in there. That's coil springs. I think I've only got 2 of them, but I'm gonna add over the year. The rest of this year, I will be buying. That's the main 2 traps that I'll be buying from now on. Is #1 coil springs and possibly some #1 double long springs for my mink trapping, because I'm gonna catch a mink. I've got plenty of coyote traps. I've got plenty of conibears. I got plenty of #4s, so I've got 4 of these #4s. That's enough for me for what beaver trapping I'm gonna do. They're not worth nothing. They're a lot of work. Now, if I really get to hitting on them and they're doing real well, I may start. And I like to eat them. I may trap them to put meat in the freezer. But I've got this. This is just about melted. In fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip one of these small traps. Now, I'm not gonna try to dip all of my chain. I may do what I call, since this pan's sort of shallow, I wish I'd have had a little smaller, so I may waller it around a little bit. But now, what I intended to do is I'm going to stick a link of this chain in these jaws just to keep them spread a little. But now I don't want it over here. When you do this, you can see right here, if I can show you on that dog right there, you see where that gets wider? That's where this stops. You want to make sure you don't have your chain blocking where wax. You want to make sure wax gets up in there. So see, I move this up this jaw a little bit. I want to make sure, in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I was trying to leave enough that I could pick this trap up by the chain. Think that'll work. Okay. See how I got it? This is what I like here. That'll be up out of the way. That trap will get all waxed good. I've got a little bit of chain holding to dip it down in here with. One bar hasn't quite melted, but we're gonna let it try to set for 15 seconds. I'm gonna roll it over a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna do the wallering it around kind of method. You wanna let that trap get to the temperature, and I may have to pick that up with I may go get me some nails and put in there so that I don't have to fool with my trap chain too much. I don't know, we'll see how this is. I got a little bit longer chain on this one. But I think if I put 2 traps in there, they'll fit a little better. The thing I don't like is that dog. There we go. That dog. My bowl's just a little bit, I ain't got enough wax in there to make me happy. Most of the important parts is getting waxed. Like I said, I'll roll it around in there and make sure it all gets. But 20 seconds, that's been in there long enough. I'm gonna hang that trap up right there. We're gonna let them dry tonight out here. In the morning, I'll come out here and I'll bag all these up. Shake that good, make sure all your excess wax comes off. All right. We're gonna start doing these bigger traps. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this one in there. I'm gonna let y'all watch it while I go fill my coffee cup up, all right? Don't go nowhere. All right, y'all didn't let nothing go wrong while I was gone, did you? It looks like y'all did all right. I do not like my trap not being fully submerged, but this is just the way it is today. this is my bigger traps anyway. This is these 1 3/4. So I went ahead and was gonna do them pretty quick. So I'm trying to get these excess leaves that I put in there. That might have been a bad idea for waxing purposes. I see I got some leaves hauled off in there and walling around. But I'm letting it set. It's heating the whole thing up here pretty much. I'm gonna flip it over and dip them out. I'm gonna do this trap and I'm gonna let you guys go. I don't want to try to make my videos way too long. I try to keep them where you don't mind watching the whole thing, and I know you get bored watching 30 minutes worth of the same stuff over and over, so, because I get bored watching it. I watch YouTube myself. In fact, that's about all I watch anymore. I don't care a whole lot about the garbage they put on TV nowadays. It's not for people like us that like to do this kind of stuff. There's a few shows on Discovery and History Channel and whatnot I watch, but not a lot on no TV. They can take Hollywood and they can take the whole sports world and pretty much the music industry as far as I'm concerned and do away with all of it. I like a little bluegrass, a little gospel music. I was gonna tell y'all noticed that I changed the name of my channel. Spirit of the Outdoors. I know a lot of you would agree that most of the outdoors seems that it has a spirit. You feel good when it's you out doing the things that you enjoy doing. But that spirit to me is my creator. And that spirit is the one that give me this life and created every critter that I hunt, trout, fish, whatever. I give thanks to God Almighty for what He's allowed me to enjoy. He's let me to live a good life. I'm gonna dip some of this leaves that got in there out. But He created these animals for me, and for you, so that we can hunt, fish, trout. And the spirit of the outdoors is my reverence to Him, and He is the great spirit that the Indians talked about, the great spirit. Jesus Christ is His name, and I'm thankful every day. But when I change the name to Spirit of the Outdoors, that's kind of it. That's what I'm referring to. But thank y'all for watching my videos. I appreciate it. Hit like on these so that they get moved up, so that it just helps other people find these videos. If you like what I'm doing, if you don't, by all means don't hit it. I don't want you to like anything you don't really like, but if you enjoy watching my videos, I try to put a little comedy in, a little backwoods southern drawl in my talk. That's just who I am. But I try to put a little comedy into them and do a little carrying on joking, because that's just kind of the way that I do things. Just carrying on, having a good time, enjoying life. I don't mean no harm to nobody. I don't want to do nobody no wrong or offend anybody for that matter, not on purpose. If my way of life offends them, that's their problem, not mine. But I'm not mad at nobody. I just want to have a good time. So if you like my videos, like what we're doing out here, give us a like on there. Thank y'all.